Buck Showalter is in as the New York Mets manager. In my opinion, I think this is a great move. This is exactly what the Mets need to do. They found a win now manager, they got a win now team, and they've got an owner who's just willing to throw money at everybody. They have the highest payroll in baseball by $22 million, and they gotta win. This team's set up to win, and they gotta compete with Atlanta, who just won a championship and doesn't seem to be going anywhere with how good they've been, with their uh, how good their younger players are. Acuna's come back. They won a championship without a potential MVP, and the Mets have got to compete. So that's what they did. They go out, they get Eduardo Escobar, they get Max Scherzer, they get Mark Canha, they get Starling Marte. They spend a ton of money as they add money to a team that was already had a high payroll. They'll go out and sign more guys. They made some moves. They made the roster a lot better, and hopefully they went out and got a new trainer too, because that's probably the biggest issue with this team is that they don't stay healthy. That's been the issue the past couple of years. Lindor has had injury troubles in the past, not really on the Mets so far, but in the past we all know he's had issues. DeGrom's always seems to have something each year, and Syndergaard's gone now, but he was always injured. They still There's still free agents available if they want to add guys. They have younger players. They can go out and make a move. We'll see on their current roster. You have players like Ronnie Mauricio listed, and he's young along with Khalil Lee. These are younger guys. Mauricio is 20 years old. Khalil Lee is 23. These guys would be packaged in a deal if they were to go out and try to find the best player available for trade. As we all know, trade rumors are going to circulate once baseball gets back to baseball, I guess, once the strike thing's over, once Manfred figures out that garbage. But Buck Showalter's the perfect guy for them. They've got a win now team. He's a win now manager. His job is going to be to make sure everybody stays healthy by not overplaying guys. Like if you think Lindor's slightly banged up, you give him a day off. DeGrom needs to miss a start, you let him miss a start. His job is to manage the bullpen because Luis Rojas struggled with that. Every year, there's always some sort of issue going on with the Mets bullpen. It's been a thing for pretty much ever with the Mets. There's always some sort of issue. The bullpen's been an issue. They brought in Edwin Diaz to help out. They went and signed Trevor May. And these guys have been good, but not great. There's always been some issue. They have such high expectations, so when they don't win, there's problems. You got Seth Lugo, you got Edwin Diaz, you got Trevor May. They've got some good relievers. So they just got to put it together with a good manager to make it work. They've got good starters too. I already mentioned DeGrom. You know about Max Scherzer. Taijuan Walker had a really good year. Who knows what Carlos Carrasco is going to do? But they have the pitching to make it work, and we all know about the offense. You got McCann behind the plate, Alonso at first. Lindor's probably going to be a shortstop. McNeil's going to be somewhere. Tom Smith's going to be somewhere. Maybe he's another piece that could get traded. He doesn't really have a real position on this team. Eduardo Escobar is going to be somewhere. You got just another good switch hitter to go along in this lineup with Eduardo Escobar paired with Lindor. And you go to the outfield, you got Canha, Starling Marte, and Nemo. And that's probably your starting three there. And JD Davis will obviously be somewhere. Maybe he could be back at third. Like they've got a lot of question marks still with this team. So that's where Steve Cohen's going to fill it out and make Buck Showalter's life easier, give him a more manageable lineup because you're going to have to figure out who's going to play where. You got a lot of guys that can play multiple positions. Canha's a good utility guy. J. Davis can play the infield and the outfield. Tom Smith's kind of a liability at whatever position he plays at. And who knows, maybe with the new CBA deal, we get a DH in the National League. That helped the Mets out a lot. Then maybe they wouldn't be looking to move Tom Smith. You just play him as your DH every day. And Robinson Cano's still a thing. So we'll see what happens with him and whether or not he's going to be on the Mets or even any team this year. But Showalter's got a good roster, definitely. You got the highest payroll in baseball. You definitely have a good roster. That's what the Mets have. They have the highest payroll by $22 million, like I said before. So it's an expensive team. You got a good manager, a guy who knows how to manage. Everybody knows Buck Showalter. He's a good manager, good person. So he'll take care. He'll take care of managing the team, and he really just got to manage the pitching, and that's what he's done. He took some Baltimore teams that were not good at all, made some runs with them, turned some guys that weren't great relievers, and were able to trade them and get back better players. He made Andrew Miller really good, Jake Arrieta. Those are all guys that were under Buck Showalter in Baltimore that turned into good players, and the Orioles were able to trade them and get better pieces back. They had Darren O'Day in there for a while, so Buck Showalter can come in, manage the pitching, because pitching's the most manageable thing in baseball. The Mets, if you look at their lineup, they're not going to be bunting and really stealing bases that much. Some guys will, but like Starling Marte will. But he's kind of a guy that's going to do it on his own. Buck Showalter's not going to be sitting there calling hit and runs, calling steals, calling bunts. He's just going to be sitting there. He's like, okay, this pitcher's only got one more batter left. Let's get some guy going. Let's get a lefty up for a lefty batter on Beck. Let's get a righty up for this righty who struggles against side-handed throwing righties. Stuff like that. He's going to manage the bullpen, manage pitching, and I think they'll do a good job because we know Atlanta's going to be good. They've been good every year. Philly always makes some noise. The Marlins are a very young team, and I don't take much of the Nationals this year. They've got Soto, but that's about it. So they really should be winning the division. They really should have made the playoffs last year with their roster, and that's really all you got to do in New York is win the division. You either got to win the division or be better than the Yankees. That's what they got to do. That's all Buck Showalter's gonna have to do to keep his job and to keep the fan base happy and to keep Steve Cohen happy. The fan base is gonna support them. They go nuts for the Mets in New York. So Buck Showalter, he's the guy. I like this move a lot. And I think the Mets will have a good season with him. Buck's a good manager. He'll get the job done for the Mets.